Hello, hello, hello. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. I'm your host, Jacqueline Grant, for The Difference Makers. Welcome aboard. We are going to have a great ride today. We have a lot to cover, and we want to make sure that you are here. Tag someone, let them know that they need to watch this particular episode of The Difference Maker if they need to know how to build business relationships online, business relationships, doing business on LinkedIn, doing business online. We know what's happened over the past year and some months where we haven't been able to network in the ways that we used to network. So, how do we now network and build our pipeline of prospective clients, customers, and those who we are born to serve if we do not network? And we have to do it in new ways, different ways than we used to do before because we're not able to meet in person the way we used to. So, how do we build these business relationships? How do we build these relationships with people we've never met before? Stay tuned for The Difference Makers. I'm your host again, Jacqueline Grant, and we are going solo today. I am going to be with you for the entire half hour to share with you the tidbits that I have learned over the years on how to build business relationships because in 2017, I took my business totally online and I met with a problem that I really didn't anticipate in advance. And when I discovered that I was no longer meeting people at chambers of commerce meetings, professional association meetings, I wasn't meeting them at coffee shops and other networking places. I said, how am I going to still meet people? How am I going to build that know, like, and trust factor when I haven't met them in person? And even if I've met them in person, sometimes it's still a challenge to build that relationship, but it does take some consistency. So usually what would happen is you meet someone at an event, you meet someone maybe at a coffee shop, you meet someone through another association, and you follow up. That's the key, following up afterwards through what? LinkedIn. Usually it's LinkedIn where you ask the person, are you on LinkedIn? If you didn't get a business card, or even if you received a business card, you'd look that person up on LinkedIn. Why? Many reasons. Number one, you can get to know a bit more about them, what they do, who they might be connected to, and maybe what connections you might have in common. That gives you a point of reference. That gives you something to start to talk about. You have certain areas of interest. You might share an industry you might share some interest. But when you don't have that point of commonality, what do you do? What do you do when you haven't met in person? And how do you build those relationships when you have no point of reference? And it's already difficult to try to make connections with someone. You send a connection request, and what do they say? Who is this person? I don't know this person. Delete. How do you get over that mental barrier that the other person has that basically says, I don't know you, I don't know what we have in common, I don't even know why you're writing to me and why you want to connect with me. I see you have 12,000 followers, so why do I want to be part of that 12,000? Those are the questions that are going in the mind of the person you are trying to connect with. Or maybe they are a big decision maker within a large company. Maybe they are the CEO of a company, or maybe they are a key player within an organization, or maybe they're an influencer, someone who's kind of hard to get in contact with. What do you do? What do you do? We're going to answer those questions today. So I want to see if anyone has any questions based on this particular topic. Please do put it into the chat so that I make sure that I can acknowledge your question and answer your question for you. But it's really a pleasure to be here with you. I really appreciate your support. We've been doing the Difference Makers for almost 2 months now, and I have enjoyed the guests that we've had on the show. I hope you have learned a few things from them, and there is much, much more to come. So if you know of a difference maker or you know someone who needs to be on this show, please do share them with me and let me know so that I can make sure to bring them on, the difference makers, so that they can share their gifts, talents, and abilities with the world. So let me start off by sharing with you a little something in my eye here. But let me share with you a bit about how this all came about. Again, I shared with you that in 2017, I took my business totally online. And so with that, I had to figure out how am I going to now get a pipeline of prospective clients that I can talk to and share what I do and possibly get new business. And I've always used LinkedIn and I always followed up with people through LinkedIn, but there was no event to now follow up from. So I had to develop a new strategy. I had to develop a different way of operating. And that's part of what I'm going to share with you today with the limited time that we have together. But what I'm going to share with you is the fact that whatever you do to engage people in life, in real life, in person, face to face, those are some of the same things you need to do online. And I'll go into a little bit deeper on 2 points in just a few minutes. But just think about for a moment what has worked for you when you networked in person? What was some of the things that worked for you where you met someone, they were the ideal kind of client that you know you could help because you know they're out there? How did you now follow up and follow through to be able to now make that person a client of yours, a customer of yours, someone who you now do business with? Well, part of it is that you develop some credibility, either in how you approached them, what you said, what you did, how you came across, how you presented yourself. All of those things went into building credibility with the person that you're talking to for them to go through their mental decision making process as to, is this someone I want to continue to engage with? Is this someone I want to do business with? Is this someone that is likely a good candidate for me to hire? So just understand this works for whether you are a corporate worker, 9 to 5 worker, and you are utilizing networking to advance in your career, or if you are an entrepreneur or business owner, and it works for either person, but we'll just focus in on business owners for right now. But basically, when you have met someone in person, they may not tell you in detail, and likely when you're on the other side, you may not go through it specifically this way, but this is really what's going on. Do I have something in common with this person? Does this person fulfill a need that I have? Does this person satisfy a gap that I am experiencing in my career or in my business or in my life? Are they a fit for something that I need? Those are the things that you're thinking about in the back of your mind. So when you are able to now hear what that person has to say, you're determining whether you want to know more or not. And that's where the follow up and the follow through comes up. But when you are able to follow up and follow through, that's when you can get more detailed information, and you're likely in a one-on-one situation where you can do a deeper dive. You can get that deeper dive of information and you can kind of go back and forth. So what I want to do with you now is to share with you, what does a person need to do to develop an online business relationship where there is credibility, authority, and the know, like, and trust factor that is necessary and must be present anytime there is the decision to make a purchase. And let me also just share that the larger the ticket item, the product or the service, the longer this decision making process may take, especially when they have not met you face to face. So I'll say that again. The development of the know, like, and trust factor takes a little bit longer to develop the higher the price tag of the product or service that you are offering or will offer at the appropriate time. And that's another point, at the appropriate time. How many of you, and I know there are many, how many of you have received some type of email. Let's just say LinkedIn because we're here on LinkedIn Live. Let's just say, have you received an email message through LinkedIn in your inbox that says, buy my stuff? Hi, buy my stuff. Maybe even not a hi, just buy my stuff. Just yesterday, I received an email from a new connection of mine, a new LinkedIn connection of mine. We haven't had an opportunity to have an engagement or any kind of conversation as yet. I sent a connection request. They accepted the connection request, and the very first message they sent to me was, "Can you like my page?" Not even hello, not even how are you today, not even hey. Can you like my page? I said, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. That's too much too soon. And we haven't even had a conversation yet. How do I know I'm even going to like your page? You don't even know if that's of interest to me. So I was pretty offended by that. And all the more reason why I'm doing this particular session, so that if you don't know what to say or how to say it, you'll get some tips and ideas here to be able to know how to not come across as salesy when you are building business relationships online. So what I want to share with you is how I have done things in person and how you can now transition that over into an online experience for the persons that you want to engage with online. So again, in prior to 2017, I had a physical location I had a physical location and I had prospective clients come to my location to meet with me. And this is why. My competitors usually did a lot of their transactions online, meaning they had a website, they had a page where you could see whatever information they had, and you can click a box and buy here, pay here, you're in. Whereas I took the approach of being more personal. I took the approach to say, if you gave me a call and expressed interest, I'd say, well, would you like to come and meet with me in person? So I made that option available. Many of them, almost all, took me up on that offer. Why? Because no one else was doing it for what I was offering. So they came to visit. Then, when they came, first thing I did was give them a tour. Give them a tour of my location. Let them see the first floor as well as the second floor. Give them a tour of the kitchen area, the lounge area, where you could make phone calls if you needed to make a private phone call. I gave them a tour of the first level. Then I took them upstairs and I took them on a tour of the second level so that they could see the environment that they would be in if they decided to work with me. Then I took them into my own office area. I had a 2 office suite where I had the training room as well as my private office. I gave them a feel for what it would be like to be in the training room. Have a seat. This is where we show things on our screen, and this is what we do, and this is what we do. So they could get a feel for what it would be like to be a part of my service. Then we'd go into my private office, give them a seat on the opposite side of my desk, and I sit on my side of the desk, and we sit eye to eye, and we have a conversation, just the two of us. Sometimes they would bring their spouse or significant other, but they would sit on one side of my desk and I would sit on the other, and we'd have a conversation. And what I would start off doing is welcoming them and thanking them for coming because they didn't have to come. They didn't have to travel. They didn't have to make the effort to come, but they came. And what I did was I gave them that thank you in advance, which made them feel appreciated. Then I told them a bit about how I came to be at that location, how I came to be in business. I told them a bit about my story. I told them a bit about my story so that they could feel more comfortable with me. They could see that I was being transparent with them. I was being open with them. I was sharing a bit of myself being a little vulnerable and sharing a bit with myself so that they could see that I'm a real person, that I'm an everyday person like they are. And so when I open myself up and share certain things about myself, then that gives them permission and the comfort level to share a little bit about themselves, because I want to be able to know if they are a fit for me, as well as I want them to know if I am a fit for them. So it's important to understand that there's a two-way dynamic going on. And when I share a bit about myself, and now they're opening up to share about themselves, they're telling about their stories. And I'm asking, what's important to you in this type of experience of what service I am possibly going to offer to you? What's important to you? Because I want to know, again, if I can serve them properly the way that they need to be served. And again, that's a key differentiator that many don't do. So after we have gone through our stories, I'll share a little bit about my program. So notice how I've had several touch points before I've ever talked about my stuff and what I have to offer. So it's not until I know what their need is and I know if it's a good fit is when I start to talk about my solution after they've told me their problem. And so once I've done that and told them about my program, then I give them some success stories. I tell them about cases of students that are similar to what they've shared with me. Maybe they've been laid off. I tell them stories about other students I've had that have been laid off and the success that they've had working with me. If they are transitioning from being a corporate worker and they're looking to start their own business, or they want to transition into entrepreneurship, I will give them case case studies, well, not studies, but case histories of other students that I've had that have done the same thing successfully. So they get to see themselves or their situation in other situations that I've already handled successfully. So when they hear that, they get a little level of comfort and they actually start to open up even more. They start to ask a few questions and I start to answer those questions. But then what I do is actually provide them with real testimonials. Real testimonials where they can actually speak to either current or past clients and students of mine so that they can ask whatever questions they want, and get a real feel for what it's like to work with me. Now, this is also something I did when I had in-person classes and in-person groups, is that I would leave the room and let them have a conversation so that my students can share very freely with that prospective client as to what the experience is like working with me. So totally transparent. And I'm never worried about what my students might say because I know the service, the quality service that I provide to them. And so their experience is a good experience. And I have confidence that they will share that positive experience with the prospective student. So when I come back now, I finish off my conversation with the prospective student and let them know that I think that they're a good fit. And only if I truly feel that they are a good fit is when I will share with them that I'd love to work with them. I feel that I can be able to help them accomplish the goals that they've shared with me that they're looking to achieve. And if not, if I don't believe that I can give them the results that they need, I will likely refer them to someone who can, who I believe that they can. But if I'm not a right fit, I'm not going to say that I am. So I'm going to make sure that I give the best answer based on their best interest, always working in their best interest. So let's say that it is a good fit. I will share with them that I believe it's a good fit and to be able to share with them what I believe they can accomplish by working with me. So then I ask them, well, what do you think? And when they share what they think, if it's a match, we take next steps to move forward and work together. But I give you that very brief history to show you the experience that I give to my clients. But now in 2017, I couldn't do all of that because I went totally online. So in 2017, I had to come up with how can I do all of that that was very successful and very beneficial to my business? How do I now do that in an online environment? So that's where building a business relationship online comes in without being salesy, because no one likes being sold to. No one likes to be felt like They're just a commodity or a check. So I developed a way to transition all of those items that I just shared with you and the feel that it gives the person in an online environment. The look, the feel, the experience of what they experience in person. I have shown them how to do that online. And that's what I'm here to share with you, two of the points. And let me share my screen with you. What I'd like to share with you is building your brand story for LinkedIn or your company website or your personal website. How will you demonstrate and translate your in-person experience into an online experience? How do you give the same type of response that people are looking for in an online experience? Because a confused mind does not buy. A confused mind does not buy. So what I want to share with you are, again, my nuggets here of what I did. I gave the phone call, well, when I received the phone call and I gave them the invitation to visit, and I took them on a tour, showed them my training room. We went over my story and their story and found out what was important to them. I provided my offer of my solution. I shared my key differentiators, why I'm different. And then I went through the program details, the success stories, the testimonials, shared references, Q&A with them, and got their thoughts and feedback. But what I want to share with you is the strategy that I came up with, which is called Jackie's 9 Client Connecting Jewels. Client Connecting Jewels. And why is that? Because there are 9 steps to be able to make sure that when you are working with a client, they get the same experience as if they were working with you in person. So I want to start off with the welcome. How do you now transition your welcome over into, let's say, your LinkedIn profile? One way to do that is to be able to put that into your banner. The big part of your LinkedIn profile that's at the very top, that's your banner. So how do you transition that into your banner? You can say whatever you might say when you welcome someone to your office, to your home, to your business. Whatever it is that is going to be your key caption, you can put that into your banner. Many people leave that blank. Many people put a nice pretty picture, but this is where you can make a call to action as to who you work with and draw them in. You can put your phone number, your email address, your website address, anything that will welcome them to take the next step to engage with you. And your thank you. Thank them in advance. Thank them in advance of taking the time to stop by your page. There are lots of pages out there on LinkedIn or any social media, and they took the time to visit you. Thank them for that because that will distinguish you from most others who are doing maybe what you do and others that are looking for your type of service. You'll distinguish yourself from everybody else. So where else can you put that welcome? You can put that welcome in your banner, as I said, but you could also put it into your headline. Your headline is the area right below your picture, and you can put that same type of welcome information as well as who you work with and who you're targeting. And we don't necessarily want to say the word target to that prospective customer, but you understand the terminology, the marketing terminology of your target customer or your ideal customer or your avatar. When you put that information into your headline, that person says, oh, that's me. I work with accountants. Oh, I'm an accountant. Let's see what else she has to say. So you want that person to say, oh, that's me. You want them to raise their hand and say, that's me. Let me find out more. So these are just 2 places where you can draw in your ideal client and welcome them and thank them just as you would do in person. Again, if you met someone at a networking event, you met them, you would say certain things, and then when you parted ways, you'd thank them and say, oh, it was great to meet you. I'm looking forward to following up with you, and whatever else you might say. So think about that and put that into your banner as well as your headline. So let's look at point number 2, your why. Now, While people may be dollar conscious when they're making a purchase, one of the key things that's really making them determine whether to purchase from you or someone else is your passion. And your passion is driven by your why. Why do you do what you do? What's the purpose? What's the reason that you do what you do? Because in that story, in your personal story, your why story, that's where people connect. That's where people connect with you. Either you have decided to do what you do because of something maybe that happened in your past, maybe something that happened in your family, maybe something that happened to someone else, maybe you had a particular interest that was always in your heart and you decided to go for it and now you're doing what you love, like me. Then you tell that story, and that's what draws people to you to be able to want to work with you. It's your passion, it's your drive. And if you are not necessarily passionate about what you're currently doing, or maybe you lost your passion for what you're doing, I would love to help you to be able to re energize that passion, or maybe refocus that passion to something else that might be a little bit more heart driven for you to be able to do what you love. I believe people have the gifts, talents, and abilities already in them for what they really should be doing in the world, what their gifts are for the world. And so sometimes they get buried under life, but it's a way for you to really bring that back to the surface and serve with passion. There are people out there that need exactly what you have to offer in only the way that you can do it. Imagine, just imagine your favorite song. You love that song. You love the artist who sings that song. You love everything they do. Every album that comes out or CD that comes out, you can't wait for it to come out because you love their voice, their tone, how they sing. You love them and maybe what they stand for. Imagine that they never went after their dream of being an artist, a singer, a songwriter, whatever type of performer. Imagine they never went after their goal. You would never have that favorite song. Imagine if you love sports and you have a favorite football player, basketball player, soccer player, whatever it may be. Imagine if they never went after their dream of going for the goal of being a professional, whatever type of player. You wouldn't have your favorite player in your favorite sport. Someone is waiting for you to be their favorite whatever, the one who helps them to do whatever it is that you do best, that comes so easy to you, what comes so naturally to you because it's your gift. It's your gift, it's your passion. And you probably think, well, can't everybody do this? No, because it's your gift. It's for you, it's your gift to the world. And so when you do what you do best and what you're passionate about, and you experience, let's say, the first time someone actually pays you for what you do and pays you fair value for your service or your product, and you receive that payment, suddenly, this is what I've experienced with the clients I've worked with, their shoulders go back, smile comes across their face, the confidence just exudes from them because they get the feeling of value that someone wants what they have to offer. And isn't that what we all want? We want to be valued for what we contribute. And so there's someone waiting out there just for what you have to offer. So build those relationships. Build those relationships, and you never know who you might meet. I'm connected to some people that I never thought I would have been connected to. Popular people, very well-known people. And I'm not going to name names because that's not the point, but it's just the fact that it's possible. But if you just give it a try and do it in the right way, great things can happen. And you never know. And if not now, when? And if not you, then who? Someone else will. But what about you? You can do it too. So let me close by saying that you have the option to be able to share your gifts and talents and abilities, connect and build business relationships that will serve you and the other person if you follow the steps of Jackie's 9 client connecting jewels. Now, I've given you two just for the time that we've had here, but if you connect with me on LinkedIn, as well as you have the option of emailing me at support at the-management-academy.com, I will give you the rest of the jewels in my jewel box. The rest of the jewels, the balance of the 9, so that you can connect and transition what you might do in person to an online environment so that you can build online business relationships on your favorite online platforms. Mine is LinkedIn, but I love Facebook and YouTube and the others as well. But LinkedIn is my real playhouse because I do business on LinkedIn. 90% of my business comes through LinkedIn. And if you determine that you need a mentor to be able to take you by the hand and show you step by step how to effectively use LinkedIn for your business or for your career, email me at support at the-management-academy.com, and I'd be happy to chat with you and share how you can utilize this for your business, for your career, and utilize LinkedIn more efficiently, more effectively, knowing what to say, how to say it, when to say it, what to do, and what not to do, so that you're not that spammy person that someone is wondering, why are they writing me, and just totally deleting it. You'll get more responses, and I'll just close with this. One of my clients got 577 new quality, focused, targeted connections utilizing my strategies in less than 2 months. And this is not just 500 arbitrary people. These are focused, targeted, highly probable to become clients at some point in the near future. It works. If you have questions, contact me, support at the-management-academy.com. And last but not least, I would like to share, because I always like to support other entrepreneurs. Ricardo Vargas is an author who has his new book launching today. Chief Executive Team, The Transformation of Leadership, is now available on Amazon, launching today, April 15th. I will put the links for the US, Canada, Australia, and the UK into the chat box, where you can get Ricardo Vargas's new book for only 99 cents. Please support new authors. Please support this very transformative book on transforming leadership. And these days, a lot has changed, even leadership. So hear from Ricardo as to how you can be the leader in your home, in your organization, in your company. Get Ricardo's book. It's a game changer. So thank you so much for being here and being with me. I'm Jacqueline Grant. I am your host here with the Difference Makers, and I went solo today. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts so that you can be a difference maker too, because you make a difference to me. Thank you so very much for being here. I appreciate you, and feel free to contact me again at support at the-management-academy.com. We'll see you next time.